Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. I've told you before, this time of the year, it's tough to zone in on some of the kinds of fishing. First of all, I want you to remember that very shortly now, bass fishing will come to an end in our area. No more even catch and release fishing. It will come to the end of the year until next spring when the season opens again. It's really important that you understand this. In other parts of the state, you can still fish for bass as long as you release them and use artificials, not in our area. Trout season, in the sense of, well, you can keep your limit, so forth, ends, and it's only going to be catch and release with artificials. But you can still go trout fishing if you want to. But a lot of people aren't going anyway because they don't have the means of getting out in the water where they fish in the summer. St. Lawrence River becomes much more difficult if you can't get your boat in the water. And the DEC, the Power Authority, and people in general are taking their docks out to protect them so they don't get damaged by ice. So this is a limited time. But I'll tell you what, there's still some great pan fishing. And crappie fishing right now, if you know where to go and you know what you're doing, can be the best of the year. Now, I've recently talked to my buddy Mike Bean. And those of you that don't know Mike, he's one of the most generous, quiet, he's just the opposite of what most fishermen are. He understates almost everything. But Mike is a great fisherman. He's helped me a lot in the past. And I said, Mike, are you fishing? He says, yeah, for crappie. And I says, well, tell me what's happening. He says, well, the water temperature is still 50 degrees. Now, this is critical. So the fish are still pretty active and feeding. And I says, but Mike, are we talking the St. Lawrence River or Black Lake? He said, Black Lake. That's where he goes for crappies. And I said, Mike, tell me something. Because a lot of people tell me that 99% of the fish you catch are under the legal limit, which is 10 inches. Mike said, well, when I went a couple days ago, I was able to take home 16 keepers, but Mike's keeper size is 12 inches. I said, wow, Mike, this is fantastic. And I said, so how deep are they? He says, about 15 feet. He says, I find in the fall, the bigger fish are more available. Because at first I thought, well, maybe the fish got bigger by eating all year. No, the bigger crappie now are more susceptible. They're aggressive. They're really feeding. And I said, tell me, how about color? A lot of people really stress color. He says, I think it's more important of the clarity of the water, depending on what color will stand out most to them, more than what color looks natural or what they want to hit. They want to hit food that they can eat. But if the color is right, and that's going to depend on the water clarity, the sun or the shade or whatever, but color does make a big difference so they can see and go after that bait. But to catch 16 fish that were over 12 inches, that's a tremendous day as far as I'm considered. And perhaps if you understand and you do spend the time to fish for them, you can get that good. Now, here's the other thing. A lot of the fishermen that I talk to, in the summertime, a lot of them are tournament fishermen or tournament wannabe fishermen, and so they're fishing for bass. But you know what? To a lot of people, even avid bass fishermen, fishing becomes fun when you can fish for something else. You don't have the pressure on you. And the added bonus is you can take the fish home and eat them. So this still is a wonderful time to go fishing. And if you haven't fished for panfish, you might really discover that this may be the most fun of all. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.